Zoraida Miliano, Jose Manuel Abud Coronado, Jesus Manuel Rodriguez Vallejo, Team Dominican Republic. Please welcome Team Ecuador. Michelle Oyage, Jonathan Echeverria, Giovanni Recalde, Team Ecuador. Please welcome Chile, Team 1. Camila Campos, Jorge Cardenal, Juan Carlos Garrido Acevedo, Team Chile 1. Please check the big screen as we choose our technical officials for the field of play. Please welcome the technical officials to the field of play. Chief Referee, Thailand, Priyanuk Nukate. Left side referee, Mexico, Valentina Kraus Moreno. Right side referee, Georgia, Tinatin Jamakishvili. Technical delegate, Italy, Chiara Cifarelli. Technical controller, Colombia, Jenny Ortiz Cardenas. Loaders preload the bar to 80 kilos rack height 12. 80 kilos, rack height 12, please. Floaters, please, 75 kilos. 7-5 now, rack 12. 75 kilos, rack 12, please.
Yeah, so here we go. We are back with you for the final event of Veracruz 2023, this Para Powerlifting World Cup, and it is the mixed team competition. There are 6 teams in this, so it's a heat stage first of all. The top 4 will go into the semi-finals, and away we go from there. Chile have got 2 teams in this, as they did in the men's event, which worked out okay for them. Ecuador, Dominican Republic, and Cuba, along with Mexico, are in this as well. So there has to be a minimum of 1 man and 1 woman in the team, and then you can fill up the squad however else you wish. Generally, that is taken to be another man, as teams have gone with this. And the first to go for Ecuador will be Michelle Ayage, who's with Jonathan Echeverria and Yumani Racalde. Each weight is put into the system, and we come up with points. It's not weight that earns you the honours in this, but the points after they've gone through the system. So Michelle Ayage is going actually for 75 here. Originally was 80, but 75 is what she's settled on. And this is going to be worth 64.90. So Michelle Ayage ready to go for Ecuador. 5th in the Americas Championship last year. It was held in St. Louis. Bronze here in this Veracruz World Cup. For an early lead, if she can manage it. We may be going to the flags here. And that is precisely what's going to happen. So we go to the flags straight away. Keep an eye open for this. It is 3 white flags. It's a good lift for Michelle Ayage, who went up as high as 85 successfully in her final in the 61 kilo event. 4 of the 6 nations are starting off with female lifters, and the other 2 are going with the men to try and rack up some scores. That was a good comprehensive lift. has 64 points on the board, and competing earlier in the men and the women's team competitions does not exclude you from also competing in this, because we saw Lady Rodriguez taking part for Cuba in the women's team competition, and she's going for a mark that she did quite a few times in that, 85 kilos, which is worth 83.10, and she was successful all the way in the women's team competition. So this will put Cuba ahead. Remember, it's the top 4 of the 6 nations who will be making their way through to the semi-finals a little later on. So Lady Rodriguez, having got her big victory here in the 45 kilo final. Great competition this has been for Cuba, and this can happen quite a bit. So this aiming for 83 points, 85 kilos on the bar, and 83 points on the scoreboard. That is a good lift for Lady Rodriguez. So Cuba have an early advantage with 4 more nations to go in this opening round.
Floaters, please, 95 kilos, rack height 14.
It's all very, very good.
Bars ready, 95 kilos,
So next up for the Dominican Republic, who we saw a little bit earlier, Zoraida Miliano, who didn't register a mark in the women's 79 kilo final, but did in the women's team event earlier. And this is an attempt at 85 kilos. It's an attempt at 95 kilos, actually, even better. So she's added an extra 10 onto the bar in terms of what was being originally planned, which means this is now worth 76.8, so they're going to second place behind Cuba and above Ecuador. And great to see her on board for this, her first international event. She's 32 years old. Suddenly the Dominican Republic have got a nice big team on their hands. Needing to keep that on the straight and narrow on the press. How's she done with that? We're going to go to the flags to find out. Oh, it's a good lift. It's 2 in her favor. Oh, that's good news for her and for the Dominican Republic. She got a lift of 85 previously. That was worth 68 points in the women's team competition, but yeah, nice one. That was a very, very good lift by Zoraida Miliano. So at the moment, the Dominican Republic are lying in second place of the 3. Camila Campos will be up now for Chile. of 100, which we've seen from her already in the women's team competition. This is going to be worth 89 points. This will be the lead for them out of the 4 teams in this opening round who are fielding women in the first lift. Victor Rublar, the national team coach, out with her. The next 2 teams, Chile 2 and Mexico, have got men lifting for them in this opening round. Victory in the 55-kilo decider for Chile as part of her continuingly successful career.
One minute.
So 100 kilos is definitely well within her mark. Should be all right.
Good lift,
that is a
Campos,
good
100
lift for
kilos.
Campos. So 89 points for Chile, 83 for Cuba, Dominican Republic 76 and Ecuador 64 to start this competition in a very positive frame of mind. 2 more lifts to come in this opening round. It's done really, really well.
Thank you to Marcus Logan, Fernando Santos Vargas.
So, Mexico. Next up, Fernando Santos coming up. Sixth in the men's 65-kilo final. First international event. He has been in national championships previously.
Minute.
This is worth 84 points. Chile leading in 89 through Campos, so this would put him into second place. 115, which is definitely achievable.
Good lift.
There's the evidence of it. So, Fernando Santos gets that. And the heaviest weight is still to come. Mexico settle into second spot. All right, now there's only 6 points dividing the top 3, Chile, Mexico and Cuba. Chile's second team to come. Got the most amount of points attached to it as well. Jonathan Astudillo, who finished 5th in the 18-kilo final, but this is going to be worth 99 points. So this is way in advance of anything else we've seen so far, which is why they're putting their male competitor in first. Fourth in the Americas Championship last year. And Andrea Echeverria is his regular coach anyway, and the national setup here. It's nice the experience as part of this growing
1 minute.
Chilean team. And this will put Chile 2 well ahead of the rest. Chile actually would take up the top 2 places in the competition if he gets this. For 99 points.
Good lift.
And that is a good lift. Half a point off 100. So Chile 2 are in front on 99. And Chile 1 are second on 89. But there's some big campaigners, big marks to come, especially when you look at the rest of the Chilean team. Top 4 into the semi-finals. And what we've tended to see a little bit today, only a handful of times previously, is that teams are, because they're in the mix with a lot of other sides and on their qualifying mark, they'll actually go a lot higher than they would do in the knockout stages, which is not something we've seen a huge amount of previously.
With 83.1, then Dominican Republic 76.8, and Ecuador 64.91 in 6th place.
But a very positive situation for Chile as they hold the top 2 positions at the end of the opening round.
That attempt is in. Loaders we need 108 kilos.
Chile 2 on 99, Chile 1 on 89, Mexico 84, Cuba 83, Dominican Republic 76, Ecuador 64 at the end of the opening round. It's mainly men lifting for the rest of the competition, though not exclusively the case, as you're going to see very shortly. Because actually it's going to be a man who lifts first. In this second round, it's Carlos Hernandez who finished second in the men's 59 kilo final. A very pristine silver medal claimed by Carlos Hernandez. Sixth in the Belize World Cup 2 years ago. Very good silver medal here, his first World Cup medal. Still only 24. This is going to be worth 85 points. We'll set the standard for the rest to try and aim for. Mexico lying in third spot after the opening round, 15 points off the lead, 8 points clear of the bottom 2, which is what they're trying to keep away from. Seconds left. Push them up to 169 points. And then that 59 kilo final.
Good lift.
Really well. Mexico. The same again here. Lifted 112 in that final for a new lifetime best and 108 here. He's produced the goods really impressively. And so those tough things to work out how the various teams are pitching themselves. If they've got a very strong female lifter, then they'll end up quite high, but it's an unknown quantity in a good way as well. Mexico are up to 170, and everyone else yet to go. And this is one of the top women's performers around. Marian Serrano going for 110 here. So leading at the end of the opening round, it was Chile's number 2 team, and Serrano finds herself in that. I don't know if we read anything into the picking of the team this time. lift of 110. That would be worth 87.69. If she gets this, Chile 2 go back into the lead. No, she's missed out, and it's body sequence. Body sequence this time. And it's all three against. And that can be for a multitude of reasons. That makes it a lot more difficult at this stage for Chile 2 to make their way into the final. She missed all of her targets in her individual final, which was very unusual for her. So what's that body sequence? It's not rocking the body around from what I can see.
Bar is ready. Ecuador, 125 kilos.
That's the first miss in this mixed team final as we go to Ecuador. Jonathan Echeverria. This is worth 102 points, so this would be a big leap up the table. Echeverria finished 4th in the 54 kilo final. His first international event too. This would send them on to 166 points, and they will go second behind Mexico's tally of 170. Again, being an athlete of short stature is not something that lingers very, very much. And he's got it! So Ecuador take a big leap up. That helps their qualification hopes a huge degree. Giovanni Recalde will be their final lifter to go in the next round. But with Chile having missed their middle attempt, big difficulties for them.
Thank you, the bar is loaded. Representing the Dominican Republic, Jose Manuel Abud Jornada.
So Jose Abud coming through for a lift of 130. He had quite a few lifts in the men's team competition, but nothing as low as this. This is worth 95 points for the Dominican Republic. Put them up to 172, and they would actually take the lead with two still to go in this round. Bronze in the 65 kilo final. Very good World Cup honour for him. This would be a huge help too if he's successful. kilos.
Good lift.
And that is a good lift. By Jose Lord of 130 kilos, 95 points. So they rocket to the top of the standings for now, with only a couple of lifts to go in this second round. 172 points for the Dominican Republic, 170 for Mexico, 167 for Ecuador. Bit of a pressure lift there, no doubt about it. Chile too are in big trouble at this stage. How Cuba and Chile's #1 team do. Be interesting to see. Annika Vega. Silver in the 80 kilo final. So he's going for a mark here of 160. Which is worth 106.72. Gets it, they'd go on to 189 points, and they would be in the lead. They would be in a great position going into the final round. He's got up to 172 this week, claiming his individual silver. Cuba in a major position of strength. They lead by 18 points. They would be well on the way to the semi-finals, depending obviously on how the final lift goes. Right now, had their second lift gone right, Chile too would be on the lead in 186, but it didn't go right. And instead the leaders should now be Cuba, and they are. Very good lift by Vega. The brilliant wily campaigner does it again, and they're knocking on the door of 190 points. 0.17 off that, and their lead over the Dominican Republic is 17.
Jorge Cardenal, Chile, Team 1.
Significant lift. Vega doing it again. Jorge Cardenal, winner of the 65 kilo final with an America's record to boot of 195. Garrido went to 192. And look where they're pitching themselves. Cardenal for 160. And this would be worth 118 points, and they would lead massively on 207. Champion, Pan Am silver medalist. A luxury for Chile to have who they have. This area of women's powerlifting. He's already lifted 170 when he's needed to in the men's competition. 160 should be well within that. And it certainly is. So Chile won, are #1. They go into the lead at the end of the second round.
This concludes the second
No
round.
guarantees yet.
While we wait for the
It's very tight between places 3, 4, and 5, by the way.
Early leaders are Chile 1.
Chile, with that lift, go up to 208 points. Cuba 189, but then the next 3 places, with only 2 going through, divided by 5. Tight all the way.
Added to the 189.83 total for Team Cuba right now. Team Dominican Republic has 172.56.
208 for Chile. They're in the box seat, but look at how tight it is below them. And Chile too really unfortunate with what happened to them. Mexico will be the next to go.
After Mexico, it's Ecuador with 167.14 points. And Team Chile is in 6th position after the miss by Serrano Gallardo. They got 99.43.
Where everybody goes next is somewhat tentative. Had to get their calculators out. Just finishing in the top 4 is fine. They can, just so long as they're safely above the dividing line. Chile too have left themselves surely too much to do. They would need to rely on 2 others to miss out. Coming up next for Mexico, Leslie Rodriguez, who didn't score in her individual final. She's going for a lift of 60 here. She's the only woman lifting in the last round. This is for 51 points. Mexico right now are in 4th place. This would lift them up into the lead on 220, but everybody else would have a lifted hand over them. It would be manageable for them all. They would need to rely really on someone else missing out in the final round, but they have to get this lift in first, and that's the important thing. Don't worry about anything else after.
1 minute.
Leslie Rodriguez, her attempts in the women's 67-kilo final.
Good lift. Rodriguez Castillo.
That's an important lift to get. 3 attempts at 65, she missed in her own final, but she gets that at 60. So Mexico go top, 221. They've had to hit their marks and they've done that, and now the invitation is open for everyone else to overtake them. Chile too probably won't, and that may well be the lift. This one right here that does eliminate Chile too. They would have had the 2nd highest points tally by the end of the 2nd round had they got their lifts in, but they did not. So next up for Cuba, Manuel Gonzalez going for a lift of 125. This is worth 113.54. Beyond 300, just like 302, 303. And a good place to put in the 49-kilo champion. His international debut, a very fruitful one. So Cuba go on to 300 points. If he gets this, Chile won't overtake. Not sure Ecuador would.
1 minute.
But to overtake him, the other countries will have to score 30 points. But he needs this for 113 anyway. Never mind what anyone else will do for the moment. For 125 kilos, 113 points, and that is a good lift. So Cuba lead on around 300. They hit the top, and I think that's good enough now. I don't think they're going to be overtaken. Mexico have taken all of their marks, and Chile also cannot get anywhere near them. They're 200 points behind, so Cuba are definitely in the semi-finals. There's no doubt about that. Mexico are the ones in a precarious position on 221. Cuba on 303 are safe. They are into the semi-finals. Chile to come next with Javier Jimenez, going for 140, the bronze medalist in the 54-kilo final.
Team 2, Javier Ignacio Jimenez Cabrera.
This will be worth over 110 points. And it's a big leap on top of what he did actually in the men's competition. This is worth 113. So if he gets this, they go above 200 points. Actually very well calculated. They would go into the top 3 with 3 more to lift. So again, the invitation is there. They won't have done as well as they'll have wanted to, but they'll have got themselves into the top 4 with a couple of lifts left to go, and then the invitation's there for the rest of us. All right, well, you overtake us then, if you're that good. Still 3 teams to go after this, and Ecuador, Dominican Republic and Chile 1 are in a very strong position. Important first for Chile too to have gotten that, and they have done so. So they go on to 217 points. It's about 218 actually.
145 kilos.
They've done as much as they can do. Unfortunate for them that they should miss the middle lift. They go on to 212. They're in 3rd place with 3 to lift. Had they got everything in, they'd be almost exactly on 300 points and very hard to knock down. Ecuador now, Giovanni Recalde, aiming for 145. It's worth 101 points. .13. We'll go on to 270 if he gets it, and they would qualify for the semi-finals no matter what. They'd go into 2nd place with 2 to go, so they would definitely be in the top 4. The 4th placer in the men's 72 kilo final. All about this lift. Now, how even was that press? They need it to be good.
No,
it is not good. They miss out on the press sequence, and they miss out on the semi-finals.
Floaters, please, 160 kilos. Racks
2 to go. Ecuador are out. Cuba and Mexico are definitely through. Chile will have 1 team in and maybe 2. But Recalde was struggling with that final lift and he doesn't get it. So for the Dominican Republic, Jesus Rodriguez going for a lift of 160. So this is the lowest amount that he's gone for today, having been in the team competitions earlier. This is worth 105 points, and if he gets it, they are through. They would go up to 277. They'd go into 2nd place. So Cuba and the Dominican Republic and Mexico would be there. If he misses it, Chile 1 would go through, with their final lift still to come, and Chile 2 would go through as well. This is a tight one. A spectacular competition, winning the 80-kilo final. Missed out at 180 towards the end of the team competition. Saw them miss out. This is 160. It's manageable. This to go through. Has he done enough to make it work?
Good.
Yes, he has. And they are there. 278 points. They go second.
Voters, please. 160 kilos. Rapid level.
They pitched that very well. Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Mexico are through. Ecuador are out. And Chile will have one team going through and one going out. They're fourth and fifth, respectively.
Chile, team 1.
Quality lift.
Juan Carlos Garrido Acevedo.
So when you see that this man lifted 192 yesterday for an America's record that lasted 3 or 4 minutes, he's going for 160 here. Almost unthinkable. So that he wouldn't get it. 116 is the target in terms of points. If he gets it, they would be the highest scorers on 315. They would go through, Chile 2 would go out. Lift by Garrido, 32 kilos below what he lifted yesterday.
Good.
No problem with that. And Chile 1 are into the semi-finals. Chile 2 are out. The highest score achieved by Chile, 324.99.
Each phase is complete. If you look at the scoreboard, you'll see Chile 1, 324 points.
Cuba second on 303, Dominican Republic third on 278, Mexico fourth on 221. It's Chile 2 and Ecuador, the two nations who had misses, who both bow out. So no worries for Juan Carlos Garrido or Jorge Caranao actually lifting 160. They can go up to 190 if they need to, if the pressure is high enough. Chile will still have the highest score despite that. 325 effectively. So if Chile 2 had got their extra mark in, they would be on 300 points and they would be safe. They'd be above the Dominican Republic. Mexico would be out on 221, but Mexico are through, Dominican Republic are through, Cuba and Chile 1. Chile 2 would be on 300 if they got the mark, and Ecuador, had they got theirs, would be on 268. So they would have missed out anyway. In fifth spot, they needed somebody else to miss and for them to get their last go. And that's why it's always important to get your lift in, and if that means aiming a couple of kilos and a few points lower, then so be it. Chile, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Mexico are through to the semi-finals, and the draw for that happens in a couple of moments' time.
Never give up. That's the line, you know? That's the line. Yo, me toca mi turno, yo estoy listo, voy por todo en mi linaje. Nunca me verás rendirme, mucho menos que me raje. Esto se hace con esfuerzo, cargo mi pasión y sueños. No es de noche a la mañana, pero lograré tenerlo. Mi cuerpo es como un templo que cuido diario, moldeo. Si cargo 220, imagínate que no puedo sobresalir del resto. Se viene mi momento, voy a ser ganador, yo me preparé para esto. Más power, you know. Esto se hace con esfuerzo y con pura pasión. Let's go. pienso rendir hasta ser el campeón. Let's go, más power you know. Esto se hace con esfuerzo y con pura pasión. Let's go, más power you know. Yo no me pienso rendir hasta ser el campeón. Never give up, take a breather, let's go all out of weight. Right here, giving more and more. No one's gonna beat me, I'm the masterpiece. For every single match I do fatalities. I do it for my dream, I do it for me. I do it for my people, for my mama, for my team. It's all on the mind, I'm the best on the line. We're master right here and we never cry. Let's go, más power you know. Esto se hace con esfuerzo y con pura pasión. Let's go, más power you know. Yo no me pienso rendir hasta ser el campeón. Let's go, más power you know. Esto se hace con esfuerzo y con pura pasión. Let's go, más power you know. Yo no me pienso rendir hasta ser el campeón.
Take a look at the big screen as we choose who will face off head-to-head in match A and who will face off
this
in
mixed team
match B.
event.
Match A features Dominican Republic
So it's the
versus
Dominican
Cuba.
Republic
Match
against
B,
Cuba.
Chile
Chile won against
Mexico.
Mexico. There's some strong teams there, I'll tell you. So here are the lineups for the semi-finals. Dominican Republic against Cuba and Chile against Mexico.
Please welcome the opponents that will face off head-to-head in Match B.
Presentations for this semi-final.
Match B features Mexico versus Chile. Representing Mexico, Fernando Santos Vargas. Representing Chile, Camila Campos. Representing Mexico, Carlos Isaac Hernandez. Representing Chile 1, Jorge Canal. Representing Mexico, Leslie Rodriguez Castillo.
Chile, Jorge Carnal, and Carlos Guerrero, Camila Campos, and from Mexico, Fernando Santos, Carlos Hernandez, and Leslie Rodriguez.
Match B, Mexico versus Chile 1.
They're pumped and ready for it. Why wouldn't they be? We've got some of the best competitors around in the world of para-powerlifting, the literal world of para-powerlifting.
Please welcome the teams competing in Match A.
So the next semi-final.
Veracruz 2023 World Cup.
This is coming up later, this one. Cuba. And the Dominican Republic.
Please welcome the athletes representing Team Cuba and Team Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic with Jose Manuel Abud, Jesus Rodriguez, Zoraida Emiliano. Cuba with Onega Dracas, Vega, Lady Rodriguez, and Emmanuel Gonzalez.
Representing Dominican Republic, Zoraida Emiliano. Representing Team Cuba, Onega Vega. Representing Team Dominican Republic, Jose Manuel Abud Coro. Representing Team Cuba, Emmanuel Gonzalez Rodriguez. And representing Team Dominican Republic, Jesus Manuel Rodriguez Vallejo. These are the athletes in Match A, Dominican Republic versus Cuba. Let's take a look at the big board and choose our technical officials for the field of play.
Next up, the draw for the officials for the semi-finals. Chief referee will be Mohammed Al-Kesh of the United Arab Emirates, along with Andrea Chirinos of Peru and Leslie Velasco of Mexico. First semi-final will be Chile 1 and their team of stars.
Chief referee, United Arab Emirates,
Against Mexico.
Mohammed Al-Kesh. Left side referee, Peru, Andrea Chirinos. And right side referee, Mexico, Leslie Velasco Gonzalez. Technical controller, Colombia, Jenny Ortiz Carreras. And technical delegate, Italy, Gian Civarelli. Loaders, please. 100 kilos, rack height 13, 100.
So here
rack height 13.
are the 6 competing in this semi-final. Campos, Caranao, Garrido in this order, Santos, Hernandez and Rodriguez. Campos to go first at 100 kilos. He's already succeeded at that in this competition. It'll be worth 89 points. Fernando Santos will be going for 115 for Mexico. This will actually be worth less, 84.57. But when they came through the group stage, Mexico ended up with 221 points. And Chile won with 324, so over 100 points more. So Camila Campos, having got her gold here in the 55 kilo decider, having got 100 with her lift really effectively in the heats, looking to repeat it for 89 points.
Good lift.
Chile
Campos.
will lead no matter what at the end of the opening round. The Mexican attempt will not be worth as much, even though it will be a heavier weight.
Loaders, please. 115 kilos, rack height 11.
Solid attempt, and in a way, well, I dare not say a routine attempt.
Bars loaded. Representing Mexico, Fernando Santos Vargas.
So all he has to do, Fernando Santos, is just come out and get this and not worry about much else. The 65-kilo competitor finished 6th in that final. This is worth 84.57. They will trail by 5, but it's just important to get it. Looking for more is Santos.
No lift.
It's no lift on the press sequence. He's gone heavier than this. Well, it's 2-1 against, and Mexico are in big trouble now.
Lowers, please.
They were the lowest team to qualify, and the 2 teams below them missed their mark.
Just be patient.
There may be an error actually with the scoring system here.
89-63 points for Campos gives an almost 90-point lead after the failed attempt by Santos Vargas from Mexico.
Some of the press that he was voted down 2-1. The error is not with the result, it's something else, so that will stay gone for Mexico. They can appeal the result as they do in regular competition. But Mexico, when you consider that they got all 3 lifts in the heats, Chile 2 missed their middle one, and Mexico only scored 9 points more. So actually, you think about it, had Chile had a couple of heavier lifts in them, Chile 2, then they still would have qualified. One of those strange little vagaries. And what that means is that Caranau and Garrido really don't need to press themselves that strongly at all for the rest of the competition. Caranau's going to go for 150, that's worth 111 points. Remember 195 he lifted yesterday for that America's record. 111.13 this will be worth. Carlos Hernandez will be going for 108 for Mexico, but that's really almost ruined their day. It's difficult to see Chile missing any of their 2 lifts. And basically, they would need to miss both of their 2 lifts in order for Mexico to go through now. For this to get on the board, it's 89-0 that Mexico lead. This is worth 85 points. Had it gone right for them earlier, this would have been for a lead of 170 to 89 for Mexico, with Chile having 1 lift in hand. And all Carlos Hernandez can do is just come through and get his lift. Silver in the 59-kilo final, a great opener for the 24-year-old. He had been in a World Cup before in Belize in Georgia, the other side of the world, 2 years ago. This is basically just for the points. Mexico are heading for the bronze medal match. That was a nice lift for Hernandez, so 85 points on the board. They trail Chile still. Chile have got a lift in hand.
The bar is loaded. Representing Chile, this is round 2 of 10 for Jorge Caranao.
Jorge Caranao going for 150. 45 kilos below yesterday's America's record. So, should he get it, and there's no reason why he wouldn't, they would hit 200 points. And that would just about clinch their spot. It would completely, officially clinch their spot in the final, because it's Leslie Rodriguez to come, and her lifetime best lift would yield 60 points. And they'd still be, they'd need her to lift twice basically and get all the points from it in order to overtake Chile. Mexico basically need Caranao and Garrido to miss, and that is simply not going to happen.
One minute.
So this to make sure it is in many ways a routine lift for him, almost a training lift for him. And to the flags, and it's 3 white flags.
Floaters. We just have to wait a moment here. Coming now is lift.
So Caranao has made it. And Chile hit 200 points, Mexico are in 85, and that is the end of it. No way back for Mexico now.
He's at 85.57. The command lead for Chile won, but there's still 2 lifts to go.
It's an unassailable lead. It is all over. It is finished completely. Unless Mexico are allowed a 4th or a 5th lift, we're done. Would be a bit of threat had Fernando Santos's lift come through. They'd be on 170 points now compared to Chile's 200. And again, Garrido's going to come out with a lift of 150. They've taken their foot off the gas completely because they don't need to do it any other way. So a lift of 61 coming for Leslie Rodriguez. He lifted 60 previously, so this to add a further 1 onto it. This will be worth 52.3. Chile already of 200 points. This is the last attempt for Mexico. First international event for Leslie Rodriguez. 58 kilos was her lifetime best with silver in Guadalajara in December. She set a new lifetime best in the heats with 60, and this is for another lifetime best of 61.
1 minute.
So that's how much she's brought to the cause. Best lift of her career, and now trying for another one. So for 61, and a lifetime best for Leslie Rodriguez of Mexico.
Majority decision, good lift.
And that is it. 2-1 in her favour. She has a lot to be happy with. She has a lifetime best. And Mexico finish with 137 points. And Leslie Rodriguez has, in this competition, produced the 2 best lifts of her life. Mexico are into the bronze medal match. Chile are into the final with one lift to go. Nice lift by Leslie. A lot to be happy about. Very well done. So a lift of 150 coming for Juan Carlos Garrido. It'll be worth 109 points, and it would send Chile beyond the 300-point mark. They can save themselves for the final. Bronzes in the last two World Championships in Dubai to aim for in a couple of months' time. There's a lot in the credit column for him. He's already had a long campaign in the men's team competition and now looking for the same in the mixed. They're in the final. This to cross the T's and dot the I's. And they'll be back in again in 30 minutes. Well, about an hour's time, actually. Don't have to worry about the bronze medal match. There wasn't a threat of it. Had all of Mexico's lifts been in, they'd now be on around 222 points. And Garrido would need this lift for the win, but as I keep saying, it's 42 kilos below what he did yesterday for that very temporary America's record. He wouldn't even start a competition at 150 usually. But he continues with 150 here today in the final. And they go beyond 300 points.
This concludes match B.
Chile win by 310 to 137.
Team Mexico will go out to the bronze medal game, achieving 137 points.
Bronze medal match for Mexico. It was an unfortunate slip up right at the start of the competition for them, which meant it wasn't just a case of playing catch up. It meant that Caranao and Garrido could aim very low, and it was over as a contest very early. Semi-final 2, Dominican Republic against Cuba. Dominican Republic with Jose Manuel Abud, Zoraida Emiliano, Jesus Rodriguez. Cuba with Lady Rodriguez, Zuniga Vlaque, Vega, and Emmanuel Gonzalez. This is going to be an interesting one. There's very little between them in the heat stage.
Representing Cuba, 87 kilos.
Dominican Republic, well, they finished 25 points down, so they are going to pop up a few of their tallies in the previous round. Lady Rodriguez to go first, having won the women's 45 kilo final. To set the foundation straight away for Cuba. The Dominican Republic are putting a man in first, which should mean more points. Lady Rodriguez going for 87, which is up a little bit on what she had done previously. This is worth 85 points. Lifts are successful in the opening round. Rodriguez on 87, looking for a couple of extra points, and she has them. That's really good, 85 points are in the bag. A good lift for Lady Rodriguez, having won her own competition. She went up to 92. That's only 5 kilos away. Excellent lift. And in a good place. They will probably trail at the end of this first round, but only by a handful of points. She's played a big part in that. Jose Manuel Abud has already lifted 130 in the heat stage, the bronze medalist in the 65 kilo decider, and he's going for 95.76 here. Close to medals previously. He has medals at World Cups even before this one. Bogota 2021, he won the silver. He actually went to Tbilisi again himself for Georgia, remembering that a lot of the Dominican team are European based. No mark in that. Fourth in the European Open Championships last year, again in Tbilisi. 11th in the last World Championships, again in Tbilisi.
1 minute.
So if he gets this, it's worth 95 points, and the Dominican Republic would lead by 10.5 points. Proficient lift, he's able to go well beyond that.
Good lift.
And that, again, is a good lift. So the lead for the Dominican Republic, but they need to be picking up extra kilos where they can to try and bridge the gap from earlier. They've plotted some very good tactics in the competitions earlier today of the Dominicans. So
130 kilos gives him 95.76 points. Lady Rodriguez, with a lift of 87 kilos, gives Team Cuba 85
solid lift.
Dominican Republic up by
Might he have been able to go a bit heavier? That's the question. But only he himself can answer whether he would have been confident enough to go for it. It's been a long weekend. He lifted 147 in competition in the last round. That would have been worth 108 points, so 13 beyond what he currently has. So Emiliano will go now, their female lifter. She's going for 95, which is worth 76.80. Following the same path as the heats, where they finished on 278 points. That may not be enough.
Bars ready. Representing the Dominican Republic, Jornada.
Well, she's picked up a lot of experience, particularly today. Didn't register a mark on her international debut in her individual competition, but she's definitely got good marks going here. So this is going to be worth 76 points. It increased their lead to 172 against 85. Cuba with Onaga Vega to come, going for a big lift, which would be worth over 100 points. To go up to 171.
Good lift, Miliano.
Good lift. She's done it. She's had some really impressive lifts in this territory. She gets 95. 76 important points, so it's 172 to 85. She's been a big help to the Dominican Republic in this.
Bars loaded. Clock is set to 2 minutes for Anaheim, Drink Vega, Cuba.
But Oniga Draka-Vega, who's gone up to 172 already today, lifted 160 in the heats, is for 165, is going to be worth 110 points to put Cuba ahead, 190 to 172. The silver medalist in the 80-kilo final. The former Americas and Pan Am champion. Pan Am gold in Toronto in 2015. No Mark and Lima last time out. And in the Americas, gold in 2018 in Bogota, silvers both last year in St. Louis and before that 2015 in Mexico City. A Paralympic Games fourth placer in Rio, a World Championships fourth placer in Mexico City. And that is pure quality. And he stepped down 7 kilos from what he's done already today. So again, 110 points should this be successful. So a chance for Cuba to hit the front. Strong team in this, medaling all over the place. 2 golds and a silver, the silver with Draka-Vega. But they're in the mood for team gold right now. Good lift for Draka-Vega. They go up to 195 and they hit a big lead of 23 points.
Actually, the gap's going the other way. Cuba now leads by 23. 195-12 after
That's a really good lift.
To Dominican Republic, 172.56, with Miliano contributing 76.8 points. We're just waiting now on the third athletes to enter in their totals.
Final lifts are coming, but Draka-Vega has given Cuba the lead, and you wonder now, will they lose it? It's going to have to be a big effort in this final round for the Dominican Republic. They've been here already in different competitions.
Loaders 125 kilos, rack height 3.
Manuel Gonzalez is going to go first for Cuba. The winner of the 49-kilo final, going for 125. He lifted 132 to win the individual gold. And this would be, I would think, an unassailable lead. They're already ahead by 23. And if he gets this, Emmanuel Gonzalez, they'd go on to 308, which would mean Jose Manuel Rodriguez would need 130 points from his last lift. His lift of 160 is worth 105 points. Rodriguez had a lifetime best of 182 in his individual final, and 182 would be worth 120 points. It wouldn't be enough. So this to win it for Cuba, for Emmanuel Gonzalez, 49-kilo champion. A Gold medalists being unfurled by the Dominican Republic in the last round as well, in the 80-kilo weight division. If he gets it, it's a victory. It's 7 kilos below the mark with which he won, so it's not that far away. It is a good lift though, and Cuba break the 300-point barrier. And that is surely a win for them now.
Voters, please.
308 points Cuba go to. And surely, like Chile, they've kept a little bit in reserve for the final.
Right now, Cuba has 308 points.
308 for Cuba. The Dominican Republic on 172.
This lift of 160
Lift is worth 105.
May make the difference. One way to find out. Rack 16, 160 kilos loaders. Bar is loaded. Clock begins. Jesus Manuel
They follow the same path as the heats, in which they finished third. So the 80-kilo champion coming out to lift 160. Fourth in the last Pan Am Games in Lima, bronze in the Bogota World Cup in 2021. The Dominican Republic to be on the way to the bronze medal match.
1 minute.
To have all of their lifts being successful, and if he gets it, they would finish on 278 points to Cuba's 308. Capable lift for him. It's 22 below what he achieved yesterday.
Majority decision.
That is 2-1 in his favour. So they got all their lifts in, and they finish as they did in the heats with 278.32.
Team Cuba finished with 300.
Cuba get the win.
66 points. Dominican Republic 278.32.
Dominican Republic finish at 278. It's just a matter of that stage of going out and getting the lift done.
Team Chile won.
Giving yourself a little personal boost along the way. That's what he's done.
This concludes the lifting in the mixed team event.
So the semi-finals are done. Cuba have beaten the Dominican Republic, and Chile have scored a win against Mexico. So the bronze medal match will be on the way shortly. Mexico against the Dominican Republic. They might be well matched. So that's how it's finished in this semi-final. Cuba 308, the Dominican Republic 278. Competitive, the Dominican Republic. But they would have needed really an extra 10 kilos on the bar, maybe for Abel Coronado and Rodriguez. I think Zoraida had gone pretty much to her limit at 95, which is fair enough. It's a first international event. Would have been a bit closer. The Dominican Republic go into the bronze medal match now against Mexico. Presentations for that.
Please welcome the athletes participating in the bronze medal match.
So Mexico coming out with Fernando Santos, Carlos Hernandez, and Leslie Rodriguez. And the Dominican Republic with Jose Manuel Abud, Zoraida Emiliano, and Jesus Rodriguez.
Features Team Mexico versus Team Dominican Republic. Representing Mexico, Fernando Santos Vargas. Representing Dominican Republic, Zoraida Emiliano. Representing Team Mexico, Carlos Isaac Hernandez. Representing Team Dominican Republic, Jose Manuel Abud Coronado. Representing Team Mexico, Leslie Rodriguez Castillo. And representing the Dominican Republic, Jesus Manuel Rodriguez Vallejo. Mexico versus Dominican Republic, the bronze medal match.
Just doing their order draw. And the Dominican Republic are going to have Jose Manuel Abud out first, then Zoraida Emiliano and Jesus Rodriguez, as they did in their semi-final. Cuba
now the athletes
don't have to do anything because they're in the final. Mexico are going out in the same order: Fernando Santos, Carlos Hernandez, and Leslie Rodriguez. Yes, Mexico are going to have to go quite a bit higher. Their chances.
Team Cuba is facing off against Team Chile 1. Representing Cuba, Lady Rodriguez Rodriguez. Representing Chile 1. Camila Campos. Representing Cuba, Onigel Vega.
So Cuba with Onigel Vega, Lady Rodriguez, Emmanuel Gonzalez. Chile with Jorge Caranao and Carlos Garrido and Camila Campos.
Representing Cuba, Emmanuel Gonzalez Rodriguez. And representing Chile 1, Juan Carlos Garrido Acevedo. Gold medal comes down to Cuba versus Chile. Check the big screen as we check our technical officials.
So now the draw for the officials for the medal matches.
Please welcome our technical
So our chief referee is Isaac Kraus of Mexico, along with Mohamed El Kesh of the United Arab Emirates, who isn't getting much of a break from the last time out, and Priyunuk Enakate of Thailand. The technical controller for this is Henia Ortiz of Colombia.
Chief referee, Mexico, Isaac Kraus. Left side referee, United Arab Emirates, Mohamed El Kesh. Right side referee, Thailand, Priyunuk. Technical controller, Colombia, Jenny Ortiz Cardenas. Technical delegate, Italy, Chiara Cifanelli.
Medal matchup to come
Voters
first.
reload the bar today's to 115 kilos, rack height 11. 115, rack height 11, please.
So the Dominican Republic against Mexico. Here is the lineup. Zoran Emiliano is going in the middle round for the Dominicans, and for Mexico it's Leslie Rodriguez who's going last. Jose Manuel Abud will start with an attempt of 130, but before him, for Mexico, Fernando Santos, he comes down. Again, he's going for 115, which he missed semi-final. 84.57 is the points target he's looking for here. And the man who finished 6th in the 65 kilo final, but he's gone for this mark all the way through. As well, some of the time he's got it, sometimes not. Be behind by almost 10 points if the two lifts are achieved, but achieving the lift is the key thing first for this man. Fernando Santos has attempted 115 for 84.5 points, missed it last time, gets it this time. So Mexico are on the board with 84 points. Had they got everything in the semi-finals, they'd have ended up with just roughly around 222 points. Dominican Republic in their semi-final got 278. So that's what they need to do. Just keep getting their marks in.
Bar is ready. Dominican Republic, Jose Manuel Abud Coronado.
So, Jose Manuel Abud going for 130, having won bronze in the 65 kilo final. A rare international medal for him. could be more on the way. Bit of perseverance. He's 48 years old now. Incidentally, he looks nothing like it. He could be 30. This is worth 95 points. All right, crowd in again today. We've had quite big crowds in for the 2 days of competition. 2 full days already. There's a brief closing ceremony to come at the end of this as well. We don't full auditorium on Wednesday for the opening ceremony at this World Trade Center in Veracruz. Very impressive. Live TV coverage and more TV as well around here, which is very, very good in eastern Mexico. So has he got this right? Yes, he has. Well, that was important to get. Obviously, any missed lift and you're at a huge disadvantage. But he's got that, and it's 95-84. The lead for the Dominican Republic over Mexico here. And Mexico are going to have to just add on the kilos as much as they can. Just keep their end up. There's a bit of pressure on that.
After round 1 in the bronze medal match.
Decent success. That's the key thing.
Loaders, please. 95 kilos. Rock type 14.
So coming up next, Zoraida Emiliano again going for 95, which she's got a couple of times today. To her credit, lifetime best territory. This is worth 78 points. Carlos Hernandez is going to go as well from Mexico, worth 105. This is where they'll be looking at each other quite carefully. Now, so Hernandez is going for something a bit lower than what he's done in the semi-final. Hernandez will be aiming for 83 points. Before that, looking for 76 points again, Zoraida Emiliano. So it'll be 172 for the Dominican Republic, should this be successful. And if Mexico are successful, 167. So Mexico would go in front. The lead would be cut. I'm pretty sure the Dominican Republic would stay in the lead. Let's recalculate that. 172 would be the Dominican Republic, 167 for Mexico. So a margin of about 7 points. The Dominican Republic will still be through going into the last attempts. So Mexico really ought to be thinking about putting extra kilos on the bar. They know what's coming, but it's down to Zoraida Emiliano getting 95 again. She's been pure positivity all competition. That's a good lift, and there's more positivity for you. Well, that helps a lot. The Dominican Republic are closer to a medal now. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant for Zoraida Emiliano. Her international debut at the age of 32. Excellent lift, technically perfect, and so much for her to be positive about and joyful about. Carlos Hernandez, the pressure's on, needs to get this. He's going for 105 kilos, worth 83 points here. Previously went for 108 and got it. Which would lead them to a score of 170. Still would be behind, but not by much, only by a point. So 108 was doable, 110 maybe was doable. Gone for 110 and got it, then they would be only half a point behind with one lift to go in this bronze medal match. So he needs to get it. The heat is on. The silver medalist in the 59 kilo final. Looking for that kind of form again. Lifted 112 in that decider, so that's his lifetime best. It's only so close you can get to that. And maybe at 108 he felt he was skirting a bit close to the win last time. Might not have been confident of being able to do it again, so 105 here. That looks quite
good lift.
He's got it. So Mexico stay in the hunt. He gets that lift of 105. So they trail by a slight margin. He could have gone for 110. That would have been 2 kilos outside of his lifetime best. 112 had he tried to match his lifetime best, which is a big risk in the team competition. They'd be ahead by a point or two. Right now, going into the last lifts, it's Dominican Republic 172, Mexico 167, 4.8 between them.
13, 60 kilos, rock height 13.
It is tight. Leslie Rodriguez is going to go again to try and put Mexico ahead and force the Dominican Republic to serve out for the win. 172 to 176.
Mexico, Leslie Rodriguez.
Would be 172.9 had he gone for his lifetime best again and got it a 112. That is not good advice though. So Leslie Rodriguez comes out, lifetime best in the semi-finals of 61. She's going for 60, which is fair enough. If she gets it, it's 51 points, and they would go on to 219. The Dominican Republic on 172. This is successful, she'll have had the 3 best lifts of her career today.
1 minute.
To keep them in the hunt, she has to get this lift to have a chance of them getting the bronze.
Good lift.
And it is a good lift. Well, she's done it. They go beyond the Dominican Republic with 1 Dominican lift to go. And the 200-point barriers breach, 219.22 they finish up with. They'd scored 221 in the heats. They didn't get all the lifts in the semi-final, which is a good reason as to why they're here, frankly. So this is the deciding lift. Jesus Rodriguez needs to get this for the Dominican Republic. The 80 meters, 80 kilo champion. And this would earn them the bronze medal. Mexico 219, Dominican Republic 172. And this is worth 105 points. This would be the end of it. Been an excellent competition for him, and the Dominican Republic have been faring excellently in these team competitions. His best result, 4th in the Pan Ams in 2019 in Lima. Santiago will be a big target for him towards the end of the year. To 180, he has tried 180 and got it earlier today. And that is a good lift, and the Dominican Republic claim the bronze medal. They go on to 277 to Mexico's 219. It's all over, and it is the Dominican Republic who get onto the podium.
Team Dominican Republic are your bronze medalists. Gold medal match is just a few seconds away.
278 to 219. Mexico got all their lifts in. They'd have had to push their talents a bit harder, but they were all floating very close to lifetime best anyway. Rodriguez had gotten hers. She was 1 kilo away in this bronze medal match from her lifetime best, which was set in the semi-finals. The gold medal match, Chile against Cuba.
90 kilos floaters.
Cuba will go first with Lady Rodriguez. Now, I think this will be very interesting. Chile scored 310 in the semi-finals, Cuba 308. Chile scored 325. 324.99 in the heats. I think Cuba have been leaving a little bit in reserve. We'll see. To wrap up the Veracruz World Cup, the mixed team gold medal match.
Lady Rodriguez.
It's the women who are going first. Final 6 lifts of the week. champions going first in the opening round, and Cuba have got 2 gold medalists and a silver medalist, and so did Chile. They're going full tilt, and I think this is going to be very tight, so long as nobody misses. Lady Rodriguez is going for 90. She's again up in what she did in the semi-final. She lifted 92 to win the final. The Americas record is 95 for Lara Sorero 10 years ago. So this is a big lift. This is a significant lift for Lady Rodriguez. I know they always are, but this even more so. This is worth 87.99. How much control did she have there on the press? Oh no, she went too high, just slightly too high, and she misses out in the press sequence. It's been a tiring week. That gives Chile a big advantage in this mixed team final. Gunning for 88, she wasn't, she didn't get it. Camila Campos was gunning for 89 points here. Just didn't have the control on the way up. It was beginning to look ragged. Just a couple of kilos too much. The 87 kilo lift would have been worth 85 points. This was worth 88, and she missed it. So that's the pressure off Chile to a large extent, I would think.
Thank you, Lopers, 100 kilos. Rack 13, Chile, first attempt, Camila Campos.
Campos on the way. Lift of 100, which she's achieved a few times. Today. And here she's coming in, aiming for 100 kilos and 89 points. Gets this. Should she get this, it is a strong lead straight away.
1 minute.
Is there any way back for Cuba if she is successful? It is well within her capabilities.
Good lift.
She is reliable. So Chile lead 89-0 after the opening round. And I'm not sure if there's any way back for Cuba now.
The Lady Rodriguez lift. After round 1, Cuba has been scored.
Good lift for Campos. It's really unfortunate for Lady Rodriguez.
After round 1. Chile.
Who gave it a good belt and was ambitious. And that's what we've been saying about adding kilos on. You would want to do it, surely you'd be tempted to do it. You'd earn a bigger score, but the closer you get to your lifetime best, the closer you get to your peak from this weekend, there is jeopardy, big jeopardy that you'll miss. It's very rare you would go down significantly in your weight attempt and miss it. And because of that, Chile are going to go in quite low for Jorge Caranao, and I'm sure Juan Carlos Garrido as well.
Bars loaded. Representing Chile, round 2 begins.
Hard luck, Lady Rodriguez. Hard luck. Jorge Caranao, victory in the 65 kilo final. Remember, with the lift of 195, the new Americas record. This is for 150, and he's aiming for 111.13. 150. Eminently achievable, considering how strong he's gone in this competition over the past 24 hours. Well, he's worked it out, and the lead is now 200 against 0.
Loaders, please, 175 kilos, rack height 15.
Powerful lift. And yet he could go so much higher. Means they can take the foot off the gas a bit as well. If they were really under pressure from Cuba here, I wonder if Caranau and Garrido, surely they'd have gone up to 175 at least. Something that would be
175 kilos. Only
a tester.
Drink Vega.
$175 as target. This is worth 116 points. The former continental champion, world and Paralympic 4th placer, legend category now, 51 years old now. 175, I think this is the heaviest attempt of the week for him. Certainly nothing as high as this. He got 175 in the second round and missed 182 in his final. So 175, I think, is as high as he can dare go. Gotta get it. Got to get this to have any hope. It is a good lift. Well, it's 200 against 116, and had Lady Rodriguez got her mark in, it would be a slight lead for Cuba. Now, the factor that would change is Caranau surely would have gone for more points, but Cuba are on 116 here. They would have been on 203 had Rodriguez got her lift in. Chile are on 200. But as I say, Caranau probably would have gone for 160 or 170, maybe more. Bad luck. You go high, sometimes you miss out.
116.73. Loaders, please, 135 kilos, rack height 3.
So 200, 216, and Emmanuel Gonzalez just has to go and lift this and put the pressure on, and again, Chile would have to serve out. Going for 135, Emmanuel Gonzalez, having lifted 125 in the semi-finals.
The bar is ready for Emmanuel Gonzalez Rodriguez,
the 49-kilo champion. His first international competition. It's worth 122 points. He's going to have to go for it. He's got no other option. Garrido for Chile is going to come up with 150 again, and that'll be worth 109 points. Monica Draca-Verga and Manuel Gonzalez having to compensate for the earlier miss in the competition.
1 minute.
So Gonzalez going for 135, which is beyond what he lifted in his final. The 21-year-old has taken the responsibility in his own shoulders, and it is a good lift. Gonzalez with 135, that is a lifetime best that he's had to pull off in the final in order to give Cuba a more respectable tally, 239 points. And again, had Lady Rodriguez scored her lift, it would have been 327 they'd have been on. But Chile have taken the foot off the pedal for the last two attempts because of what happened. The pressure was really on, and this is the man whose lift can will it for Chile. 109 points at stake, 150 kilos. Again, 42 below what he's done previously. Cuba finished on 239.36.
The bar is ready. That final attempt belongs to Juan Carlos Garrido Acevedo, Chile.
So this lift will win it. Chile scored 324 points in the heats when Caranao and Garrido went for 160. Had Rodriguez been successful with a lift, Cuba would be on 3.26. Chile's 3.24 from the heats, but obviously Caranao then could go for 170 as he did do earlier, which would be worth another 14 points. And Garrido could go for 170 and that'll be worth another 15 points. No criticism of anybody who goes for it and doesn't get it in the team competition. But this for the win for Chile, to win the mixed team gold medal. Juan Carlos Garrido in position again. A very long day for him, a long weekend for most. To win it for Chile. 150 for Juan Carlos Garrido. That's it! Chile get the gold! The mixed team competition goes to one of the best powerlifting nations around. Chile have done it. They win with a score of 310 to Cuba's 239.
Team Cuba 239.36. Chile won.
Cuba would have had 3.26 and they got all the marks in, but then Caranao and Garrido could have gone higher.
This session, victory ceremonies just a few moments away.
A competition where the limits were pushed, where Chile get the title. And the man who's won 2 World Championships bronze medals last time out, in Astana and Tbilisi, gunning for the same or better in Dubai, has got a Veracruz gold here. Chile win 310 to Cuba's 239, and the victory ceremony is on the way.
points. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the victory ceremony for the mixed team event at the Veracruz 2023 World Parapowerlifting World Cup.
So the victory ceremony for the last event of this Veracruz Parapowerlifting World Cup for 2023, the mixed team ceremony. An excellent 3 days of competition, 4 days of fantastic
Please welcome
rounds.
the medalists.
Opening ceremony on Wednesday. This huge chunk of the Veracruz World Trade Center absolutely packed, hundreds and hundreds in, and we had that too across Thursday and Friday, the individual competition. Good interest among the members of the public as well. Live TV coverage on RTV. We look after public television in this part of Mexico, in eastern Mexico. And massive thanks to them as well. Brilliant, top-notch professional coverage from RTV. So muchas gracias to you. Great dealing with you this week. So now, presenting the medals here, Liliana Suarez Carrion, the president of the Mexican Paralympic Committee. Tonight, and Roberto Escobar Garcia, the education secretary of the city of Veracruz. And Juan Pedro Toledo Dominguez, representative of CANADE, the Mexican Sports Federation, National Sports Federation. Sport Mexico, essentially. So bronze to the Dominican Republic, who beat Mexico in the bronze medal match by 278 to 219. Jose Manuel Abud, the bronze medalist in the 65 kilo final. Jesus Rodriguez, the 80 kilo champion. And Zoraida Emiliano, who didn't win an individual medal in her competition, but in her first international event, has picked up team bronze, and that is just magnificent. Her international debut is a successful one. You have to earn these. They don't get given away. You don't show up and get them wrapped around your neck. You have to put the hard work in, and she has done that. They have done that. Dominican Republic getting into the top 4 in the group stage, the heat stage. Not only that, they had the 3rd highest score.
Team Dominican Republic.
Beaten by Cuba in the semi-final, only in the end by 30 points or thereabouts. And they saw Mexico by just under 60 points. Bronze for the Dominican Republic and silver for Cuba. Lady Rodriguez, who got really good success in her own right in winning the women's 49 kilo final. Onika Draca Vega, the silver medalist in the 80 kilo final. And Emmanuel Gonzalez, gold in the 49 kilo event. Rodriguez was the 45, obviously, in the women. 2 gold and a silver individually for these 3, and silver in the gold medal match. Yes, Lady Rodriguez missed the opening attempt. They would have outscored Chile if Chile had kept to the march that they'd gone for, but they wouldn't have. Coaching team led by Ramon Martinez. Cuba get the silver medals, and they performed very well today.
Team Cuba. Gold medalist now, and Veracruz 2023 World Cup champions, Team Chile won.
So the winners, Chile take the gold. Camila Campos, the women's 55 kilo champion. Jorge Caronao, the gold medalist at 65 kilos. Juan Carlos Garrido, the silver medalist at 65. They got all their lifts in. Campos at 100, Caronao and Garrido at 150 each, and Cuba got all their lifts in. Then both of them going for 160 should have been enough. Even failing that, 165 each would have been enough just to squeeze in by a couple of points. One of the leading para-powerlifting nations around. It is as simple as that. Medals here being presented by Sanyazen Escobar. What a fine host city Veracruz has been at this World Trade Center in this bustling, big city, 400,000. And at the end of it all, the last anthem for competition we'll hear belongs to Chile.
Congratulations to the medalists.
Very solid performance for Chile, and they had a little bit in reserve, I think. John Echeverria and Victor Rubelar, the national team coaches, getting the medals as well, completely deservedly, the way it should be. Wasn't always the way, actually, for a very long time. In many sports, the coaches didn't get medals. There's probably a few sports in which that's still the case, but as soon as this team competition came in 2019 at the World Championships in Astana, coaches had to get medals, and it's quite right too. Chile the gold, Cuba the silver, and the Dominican Republic get the bronze. Big schedule this year in powerlifting. The World Championships are on the way in Dubai in August, the end of August, 22nd to the 30th. Pan Am Games obviously coming up in Santiago in November. Before that, the Asian Para Games in Hangzhou in October. African Para Games as well. We'll be on around that part of the year.
Closing ceremony still to
World
come.
Cup in Cairo in November. There's an invitational competition in Santiago, in Chile in August. The World Championships, big date, and the Para Pan Ams to round off 2023. It's been a great World Cup. It has been a brilliantly attended event. You consider the World Snooker Championship has got 900 fans at it each session, and we've had close on that for the Thursdays and the Fridays here. Can't growl at that. Well done, Veracruz. Great venue, well done, good competition, and it has been a lot of fun this week.
Yeah. I only got one question. So is that all you